Okay, hello and good morning everyone. Welcome to JFD, Traders Espresso, with me, Darius Anucauskas. Today's the 11th of June 2019, so welcome everyone, welcome to this Tuesday's morning session where we're going to have a look at the markets, a few of the charts, the usual stuff. But before we do that, as always, let's quickly have a read through our risk disclaimer. So, the content we produce does not constitute investment advice or investment recommendation, should not be considered as such, and does not in any way constitute an invitation to acquire any financial instrument or product. As always, a few seconds for you to read the rest, and we can continue. Okay, so now then, let's quickly jump into the charts. Now the first one I want to touch on here is the FTSE100. Now I looked into this one previously before, but what's interesting here is that yesterday we did push higher. It did kind of stay above this key area of resistance near the 7,370 level, and for now, of course, as you can see that the move yesterday was almost neutral, kind of. It didn't quite move a lot, but still this kind of is still looking quite positive, given the fact that it's still trading above the 7,370 level, and also looking at the cash index right now, the futures market. So it's already currently slightly above the yesterday's closing price. So for now, we're going to continue aiming higher. For us, the first potential target is, of course, this one right here near the 7,420 zone, approximately there, near that area, which is near the highs of the 3rd of May. And if that's not enough for the bulls, then yep, further moves higher could be possible. And the next area where we're going to be keeping a close eye on will be the 7,450, just only about 30 points a little bit higher than the previous one. So yep, keep your eyes on both of these. These could be nice, good areas of resistance. Of course, don't get me wrong, at some point we could see this little correction to the downside, but what we're going to keep an eye on here is, and as you can see already by the line that I'm going to draw, we're going to keep a close eye on this little tentative upside support line. Now it's a bit of it's a very tentative one, it's a very steep one, of course, as you can see. So in a way, this is going to be our little kind of gauge here of how well the price acceleration is doing. So in a way, if it continues to trade above this upside line, then yep, it's looking quite strong. The index is quite strong, and then we could see this one traveling higher. But if this suddenly breaks and we see a drop for lower, then we will target the area around the 7,280 zone. So this was previously a good area of resistance. Also at one point it acted as a good area of support here back on the 20th of May. So that's why it could be a good potential target for FTSE. But in terms of the breaking point here, in a way, what you could do here is try to find maybe somewhere around here, around the 7,315, or maybe even actually around the 7,325. Now, the only thing is that it's a bit of a tricky one here because there is no clear kind of level here. But in a way, we could keep a close eye on this one here, the 7,325. A nice good drop below this could potentially send this one towards a test of the 7,280 zone that I just mentioned, which could play out nicely. And probably by the time, let's say, this travels lower and breaks, let's say, below the 7,325 level, the 7,280 zone could coincide with the 200 EMA here on the 4-hour chart, and that's why this could become a very interesting, nice area of support. So, but of course, this is for now, this is just speculation. Let's see how this is going to play out. For now, it is looking quite positive. The index is looking quite positive. And like I said, the areas that we're going to be targeting right now is, the first one is around the 7,420, and the next one is slightly above that, the 7,450 level. So keep your eyes on that one. Jumping into Ethereum very quickly, a very quick update on this one. So basically, as you can see, that it managed to move away from its highs that were reached at the last almost at the last days of May here. It traveled lower. Now it is a bit of a messy chart here, I would say, because on one hand, I mean, it is trying to move lower. On the other hand, as you can see, it dropped below its 200 EMA here on the 4-hour chart, but quickly kind of traveled back up, and now it's currently getting held here near these other EMAs, the 50 and the 100, so shown as the red and the green lines respectively. So for now, what we're going to do here is probably we're going to just play the support and resistance level here. We're going to wait for some breaks here before examining other higher, either lower levels. So in a way, in terms of the upside, we need to see a clear push above the 251 or ideally 255 level. This way we can then target the area around the 274, which acted as a good area of resistance here back on the 2nd of June. And of course, if it continues to accelerate further, then yep, we'll look into slightly higher levels like the 280 or 289 again. But for now, let's keep it short and simple. In terms of the upside, like I said, we are waiting for a push above the 255 level. In terms of the downside, well, as you can see by the arrow here that I've drawn, it's a bit of a conservative approach here in terms of the downside, in a way for us to, let's say, just aim for further declines in the near term. We would like to see a drop below the 223 area, approximately there, which previously acted as a good area of support here back on the 16th and the 17th of May. So that's why for now we're going to keep it very short and simple here. In terms of the upside here, the 255 level, that's what we're looking for in order to kind of aim for higher levels. In terms of the downside, we need the 223 area here getting broken before we could aim for the downside. Looking at a few of the pairs here right now, so the AUDCHF. Now this is just a quick update on this one. I've looked at this one yesterday, and what I was saying, that we need to see a clear break and ideally a clear close of the 4-hour candle below the 0.6895 level. So this is what we got. This is what happened, and as you can see, also I've mentioned this little area right here near the 0.6887. So also I've mentioned that we need to see a nice good push below that, ideally, in order to kind of aim for further declines. But as you can see by the last kind of 3 to 4 hour candles here, you can see that this level right here, the 0.6887, kind of is acting as a very nice area of resistance. So for now, of course, we are more bearish than bullish on this one. It could in a way travel a little bit lower. Now I'm not saying that maybe we'll go all the way here towards the 0.6825 area. Now we're keeping this just in case this decides to sell off sharply, this potential target here, the 0.6825. But what it could do today, looking at today's pivot points here, because it's already below the pivot, it may in a way travel towards the S1, which is around the 0.6865 zone, approximately there. And of course, if that doesn't stop the fall, then yep, the next potential target could be around the S2, which is around the 0.6845, just 20 pips lower these S1. So these are good potential targets here, guys. Certainly, like I said, for now it's looking more bearish than bullish, but first let's aim for the S1, which is around the 0.6865. If that fails, then yep, we will go 20 pips lower to the 45 one, and see what it wants to do around there. If it suddenly travels back above the 0.6895 level here, and let's say pushes above the pivot, now this could actually increase the pair's chances to travel all the way here to test this downside resistance line taken from the high of the 23rd of April And but still, for us, let's say, to aim for higher levels, we need to get that nice good break here above the 0.6950 before aiming for higher levels in the, at least in the near term. So for now, be very careful with this one. Keep your eyes on some of these key levels that I've mentioned, and let's see how this is going to play out. Jumping in, also very quick update on GBPJPY. So jumping into this one, yesterday in my traders tea time, I talked about this one, and basically I was telling you to keep a close eye on this upside, this tentative upside support line, which kind of played out nicely right now, as you can see. So in a way, it wasn't able to break it, and it held nicely the rate from dropping lower. So but still, for now, looking at the pivot point here, you can see that it's the pair is below it, and but that's of course so far. We still have the full trading day to go through, but yep, for now, kind of we are very careful on this one. We're not gonna, even though we did have a nice rebound here from this upside support line, we will wait until we get a nice push above this 138.68 1.3817 level before we could, let's say, examine some higher levels. So we're going to play this one carefully and safely. If we see a drop below the 137.45, now this is where we will aim for the lows of June, so the lows so far of June. So which are around the 136.56 level. So for now, that's the game plan. Keep your eyes on the 137.45 on the downside and the 138.17 on the upside. Very quickly on EURUSD. Now, I talked about this one, and this is for now, it's playing out exactly how I wanted it. And basically, I was telling you yesterday in my traders tea time that we may see this one pushing higher. We may see this one breaking above this 1.6245 level here, approximately there, and the next potential target for us could be this 1.60 Now this is what I've said, that we may get a hold up here, and if we do see a hold up, and now let's say in this scenario, if we see a drop back below the 1.6245, now this is where it could become interesting, because it could potentially confirm a range here, a very nice range here. So for now, of course, this is just an idea, guys. Keep it in the back of your heads, because let's say if it decides to travel above the 1.6280 and then let's say closes the 4-hour candle above it, then for now, kind of ignore this idea. But as you can see, the kind of the hold up has occurred already here near the 1.6280. For now, we're gonna wait for, like I said, for a clear move here. If it pushes above the 1.6280, then that's good news for the bulls. We could see this one climbing further up. But if this continues to hold, and if we see a drop below the 1.6245, then, well, I mean, like I said, it could play out nicely with this little, or I wouldn't say little maybe, but this potential range formation. So keep your eyes on this one. Let's see how this is going to play out. Yep, let's be very careful, guys. And the last pair I wanted to quickly touch on, and that's EURODollar. Now, also, what I've mentioned before and yesterday when I talked about this one, basically we're keeping a close eye on this steep upside support line. So the pair traveled lower yesterday, but kind of failed to touch this upside line, and reversed and pushed higher again. Now it's currently trading above its pivot, which is seen as a nice, good, positive sign. The only thing is that for now, what we're gonna do here is we're gonna wait until we see a clear break above this high, above this last week's high near the 1.1348 level before we kind of will examine higher levels, because this way the pair would confirm a higher high, and we could then target the area around the 1.1390. But as you can see, we're going to be very careful with this one. Yes, it did push higher. It is currently above the pivot, which is good sign. But if it, let's say, struggles to overcome the 1.132425 zone, then, well, I mean, we could see this one sliding back down here. And the only thing is that for us still, in order to kind of consider the downside, of course, yesterday what I talked about was this level right here, because we were still kind of trading around this area. But for now, what we can look at here is basically we can lift our level here a little bit. The 1.1290 could become a very nice potential area of support, which if broken could open the path towards slightly lower levels, and we could then potentially target the area around the 1.1250 or even the 1.1215. But for now, again, like I said, until it's kind of trading above this upside line, we will remain somewhat bullish. But then again, we will wait for a confirmation break above this 1.1348 zone before we can aim for higher levels. In terms of the downside, as I said before, the 1.1290 level, that's the level that we're going to be keeping a close eye on for today. If we see a drop below this, then yep, we will target the 1.1250 or even, like I said, the area around here, around the 1.1215. For now, that's the game plan. Let's see how this is going to play out. Let me just actually quickly put the highlighted areas here on the chart just for our reference, and we will get back to euro dollar again. We'll see if it actually makes a nice move here, either through this level or through that one, and then if it does before my trader's tea time, then yep, I will cover this one again during my trader's tea time. So yep, feel free to join on to that one. That's 13:15 as always. So yep, but for now, I hope you have a wonderful trading day, guys, and I will see you later. Bye bye.